I'm going to try and move fairly quickly through this. There's going to be a recording available afterwards, so if you do miss any of it or you can't save the whole thing, be sure to watch out for it. We'll send you an email. So I'm just going to dive straight into it. So today I'll just do a quick introduction and overview about the solution, and then we'll go into 3 demos. So one is around social engagement, the next is social customer service, and finally social selling. And then we'll quickly touch on how to operationalize social customer service in your organization, and also how do you work with a partner with these tools in mind. And then we'll have some time for Q&A. Please feel free to drop questions into the chat at any time throughout. I'll do my best to answer them. So just before we proceed, this is a typical safe harbor statement. Generally, this means that you shouldn't make purchasing decisions around Salesforce technology based on forward-looking statements. So if we talk about the future and how amazing it is, it's not necessarily currently available, but I'll do my best to be very realistic with you. So if I can just ask a favor from all attendees, please, if you can please visit our AFD Facebook and Twitter pages and just leave friendly posts, comments, private messages, anything you can do. We're actually running this demo today live in our AFD social accounts, on our AFD Social Studio, and even in our Sales and Service Cloud. It's all production and live. So an example of what you can send in is, hey AFD, I'm totally loving the Social Studio webinar being run by Robin. Here's totes the maze balls. Okay, cool. And there's some links down here. It's allfamous.com is the handle. Great, so I just want to remind everyone we've got an upcoming webinar schedule. So today, Friday 28th, Social Customer Service. Next, in 2 weeks' time, we'll be doing a Social Studio Analyze demo, which will go in depth, just focusing on Analyze. We'll be looking at Engage, Publish, Command Center over the coming months, how to do customer service, social customer service, etc. And we'll be adding to this list as well, so please do stay across them. Also, just a note for anyone based in Sydney, we are running a social event on Thursday the 24th of August in the IB Sunroom. It's a really early morning event. Registration starts at 7:30. If you are interested, just drop me a note and I'll be sure to invite you. Great. So just to introduce myself for those that don't know me, I'm the co-founder and CEO of AF Digital. My background, I was really customer service oriented. I got my career through Vodafone. I became a business analyst after being in customer service, and I went on to implement Siebel as a regional CRM platform. Huge project. Through that and several afters, I gained deep CRM and BI experience. I later went on to work with IBM as an agile project manager, which brought me to the Philippines and actually is where I started the business. I'm passionately geeky. I'm really, really curious about technology and how it can change the world. The company was founded in 2011, and we've been a Radian6 partner since 2012. So ever since we started, we've pretty much been evangelizing social. It's been a long slog, but I feel like now companies are paying attention. Great, so just to introduce my company, we're really a marketing services company. So we do a lot of agile transformation with our clients, so how to iteratively and rapidly adopt this amazing technology. We do a lot of technology consultings, but we also have marketing operations, which we facilitate with our offshore global delivery center. And that's all sorts of things from content to engagement to sales to service. We're a full service marketing company, so email, social, content, reporting, marketing automation, and one-to-one advertising. It's just some of the things we do. So we have 3 centers, Philippines, Singapore, and Australia, and we really service some of the largest household brands around the world. Great, okay, let's get straight into it then. That's a bit of an introduction. So why is it so important? So here's a really great stat from the Salesforce second annual State of Service report just come out. More than 70% of customers are likely to switch if they receive an inconsistent level of service or an inconsistent experience. So that's a really powerful stat. That means that if you give your customer an inconsistent experience on social to what they get in a voice contact center, they're way more likely to leave you than not. You know, it's the chances are they're going to leave you. So it really shows us how important it is to make sure that all of your channels have the same level of quality. Here's some other stats. These are also really interesting. This is really focused around the service industry, and this is where leaders really anticipate the growth coming from. And these are the key KPIs that they're looking to start tracking. So we've got things like customer effort score on the left, case deflection, you know, how many cases are not going to your contact center, net promoter score, I think we all know what that is, agent impact on net promoter score. So how do your agents actually assist with that score? And then social promoter score is similar to sentiment. So these are really key metrics that service leaders are going to be focusing on this year and next. If you look at how social overlays across all of those, so you know, on the left, social is actually 41% cheaper to operate as a service channel than voice. So that reduces your customer effort scores. Case deflection, and this is where a lot of people are talking about deflecting cases to, is either self-service or it's social, because we know social has a lower cost to serve. NPS, you can't drive NPS through social unless you've connected it to your CRM platform, and then you drive it from there. So you have consistent NPS ratings across all of your touch points. This one, agent impact and net promoter score, this is a really interesting one. The reason this is really important is, you know, unless you treat social with your other cases, you can't measure NPS, and you can't measure the impact of a social agent versus a voice agent. So it's really important to make those channels ubiquitous. Finally, social promoter score. So very similar to sentiment. This is about people talking about you positively. And what we know from a very old study with McKinsey is that sentiment has a correlation with revenue. Whether it's chicken or egg, who knows? And what we also know is that social impacts the entire organization. Marketing, sales, service, technology, risk, HR, insights, and the C-suite. Everyone has a role to play in social. It's no longer just the job of your social agency to take care of that. It's much bigger than that. So Salesforce, they've really come to the party with a great platform, Social Studio, which was called Radian 6 and has evolved a lot since then. It's really the front end for social, and that connects natively into Service Cloud, Sales Cloud, and Marketing Cloud. So that's really exciting. It brings social into the organization. Yeah, so you know, I'm really excited about how this technology is helping companies really adopt these channels. This is an example of a command center, and this is a really interesting talking point because, you know, a lot of people are like, why do I need a command center? You know, it's extra cost. I've got to pay to have somewhere to put them. Who's going to use them? It's not really about who's going to use them. It's more about driving transformation across your business. It's about emerging those stats and metrics and those conversations that happen that no one's aware of, except for the social agency, hopefully. It's about shedding light on social. So it's really critical. If you do want to embrace social as a business, you have to look at how you change mindsets. So just to cover this off, this is probably the most technical part of it, and I'll keep coming back to this diagram, but it's important you understand the relationship of the applications that make up social customer service from Salesforce. So bottom left, we've got Service Cloud. So this is either Service or Sales Cloud, which is really the CRM platform. Here we've got Social Studio. So Social Studio, if you're not familiar, it's a social media management platform. It's really awesome. It's for publishing, engagement, and analytics reporting. So this is what your agency will typically use, or your internal marketing team. Service Cloud is what your customer service teams would use. Then we've got this third application, Social Hub. Not many people are aware of this one. It's not really an end user application. You wouldn't have the average user logging in. It's more a back-end automation rules engine. So what we do is we use that to automate some of the processes between Service Cloud and Social Studio. So you can be engaging on Facebook and Twitter, and there's other channels as well, obviously supported. So you can listen, you can engage, you can publish content. But you can also, using Social Hub, you can also trigger a case or a lead to be created in Service Cloud. Or you can manually trigger them from Social Studio. So there's kind of an automated rule creation or manual creation. And then from Service Cloud, this is the amazing feature, is you can reply back on social and take over the conversation after it's left the agency's hands. So just zooming into this a little bit, Social Studio. So some of the great features, on and off page social engagement. So this means your social marketing team, they can be talking to people that are posting on the Facebook page and tweeting about them. They can also have conversations off those pages. So if somebody mentions a topic that is related to your industry, you can listen to that and proactively engage. That's what we mean by off page. And the other great feature about Social Studio is that we can escalate cases and leads from the Engage console itself. So you can see here, here's a post from Damo, and this has been sent to Salesforce. So that's been sent to Service Cloud as a case, and you can see all these indicators. It was actually done using macros, and I'll show you how to do this. It's really quite easy. So that's Social Studio. So that's really what we're going to be covering in this webinar. There's also features like publishing and Analyze, which I won't cover, but there are other webinars for that. So let's talk about Service Cloud and Social Hub. So this is really, it's more for the technical people. So if you're a business user, you probably won't relate to this, but generally there's two types of scenarios where that you'd have your Salesforce CRM set up. So you're either a B2B Salesforce user or a B2C Salesforce user. Sometimes you're both. So there's many scenarios of that. Generally, a B2B scenario is you have one account, multiple contacts, and that's, and you usually sell into the contacts and have your customers' accounts. In a B2C scenario, there's no account contact, it's just a person account. So there's just one record for a customer, whereas there's one-to-many record here. So this is more set up for organizations. So the way that social customer service affects the objects in Salesforce is it actually adds the social persona and the social post objects. If you're not familiar with what objects are, just glaze your eyes over until I move to the demo. The social persona object is the same as a Facebook page or a Twitter account. And the social posters are social posts within that. So that's a one-to-many relationship. And it's the same for a B2C scenario. So you'd have the parent, which is the person account, and a social persona. So you may have two social personas, one for Twitter, one for Facebook, and then many social posts under that. And the way that cases work is cases relate to a contact or a person account, but they can also relate to a social post as well. So it means that you've now got a concept of a case. You've already got that in your system, and now you've got a social case, which is really triggered by social, but it's treated in a very similar way to other cases. And I mean, this is a view of what it would look like, a social case list. And this is actually a Lightning Service Console view of a social case. So it's really the same as any other case. It's just the case source is social. So just covering off quickly social leads and how they integrate with Salesforce. So there's two steps to this. One is you've got a new social lead that enters the system, and then you convert the lead into an account contact opportunity. So just talking about this first step, so we create it from Social Studio, it becomes a new lead, and it's got its social persona attached and social posts attached. So at this point, as a salesperson, I would enrich the lead, I'd work them through my nurture process, and then I'd convert them into an account contact and opportunity if they qualify. And it's very easy. You just convert the lead and it becomes an account contact as per your current business rules. New social persona, and we move the historical posts. And then you can also attach an opportunity to that as well, just like a typical sales process. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and I'm really excited about it because I do B2B sales, and yeah, it's cool to be able to use social. Here's an example of a screenshot of some social leads. I've blocked out the emails and companies a bit just to keep people private. And again, this is what a social lead looks like in Salesforce. So if you're familiar with the Sales Cloud Lightning console, this is just the same as any other lead, except that it's in social. Great. Okay, so now that we've covered that, I'm just going to jump straight into the demo. So we're going to look at social engagement first, and then we'll have a quick look at Social Hub, then look at Service Cloud, Sales Cloud, and some reports and dashboards. Great, so I'd like to introduce three of my favorite people today. We've got Donald Trump, who's the social media specialist, Jackie Chan, who's a social customer service agent, and Hank Moody, who's the salesperson. He's very enthusiastic looking. So let's just jump across. I'm going to go live. So bear with me. I always get a little bit nervous when I do live demos. So if everyone can see now, I'm in my Social Studio view. So within Social Studio, there's Publish, Engage, Analyze. I'm in the Engage section, and I've got my columns set up for engagement. I've optimized these for my own engagement because this is how I roll. So let's just have a little look here. I'm going to try to do the job of Donald Trump. So just going back to Donald, he's a social media specialist. His job: review, tag, engage, and close all posts. He has to reply to posts, he has to assign posts to other Social Studio users, and escalate cases and leads to Salesforce. So I'm going to do that entire job right now as quickly as I can. Great, so, excellent, we've got some people. So we've got Otis. Okay, I need this. All right, so it sounds like a bit of a sales lead, so I'm going to give him a bit of a like. All right, and then it's really up to how you train your agents, but what you could do is you could facilitate the first part of the communication here, and this is what I'd recommend you do is that you do that. You go, "Hi Otis, how can we help you today?" And I'm going to throw in the little emoji. This is a recent feature, smiley face, boom. And Otis should have that straight back at him. And then I'm just going to change the status to say commented awaiting reply. Okay, cool. I'm just going to move on, and that will just stay there. Okay, we've got Claire Ramirez. Greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things. He's the one that gets. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna like that, and couldn't agree more. Love this. Little heart there. Where's my heart at? Okay, I don't know where the heart is. I'll just give you that. I hope you don't read too much into it, Claire. Okay, cool. Great. And I'll just change the status to comment to close. Okay, I've signed up because this is the future. Okay, so let's just create a case. I want to create a case out of Eileen. Although she's positive and doesn't have a complaint, what I'm going to do is use a macro. Okay, so you can see our macros here. I've got some set up, but I've got these two set up: create case in Salesforce and create lead in Salesforce. So I'm just going to jump across, or I'm just going to click create case. Cool, and that's actually done auto tagging. So a macro auto tags the post. So in this case, the macro has, if I look at the activity, set engagement post referred, added label Salesforce case. So you can see these labels here. Sent Salesforce Service Cloud as a case, visibility set to hidden, and assigned it to myself. So I can check in on it later. So that's now gone into Service Cloud. So I'm not going to jump into Service Cloud. I'm going to keep doing my job because I'm Donald Trump and no one messes with me. So Gene Hart, let's see. Okay, may the force be with you. I'm signing it up now. No way I'm going to miss this. Great. So I'm going to like that. And what I'll do is Gene, I actually think she qualifies to be a sale. So I'm going to create a lead in Salesforce. And now I know that I don't need to touch that anymore. So you can see that both the case and the lead have been grayed out, and they're going to get sent straight across to Sales and Service Cloud. And as a social media specialist, I just don't need to worry about them anymore. It's done. Great. Okay, let me just have a scroll through. So that's some of our inbox Facebook messages. We've got some Twitter going on here. Let me just have a look. I want to give you a real example of a social sale. Okay, so Matt Cameron, let me have a look into him. He's posting about Salesforce. The reason why I'm interested in Matt Cameron posting about Salesforce is because I sell to Salesforce customers. That's my target customer. So I'm just going to have a look in and check out Matt. So as Donald Trump, I've been trained on how to identify what a potential sale will look like for my sales team. So they've really said, look, we're really interested in people like this. So based on that knowledge, I'm going to jump in and just have a dig. Matt Cameron, helping people create opportunities with social media. Great. Okay. It doesn't look like he's in this country, but that's okay. I'm going to personally follow him. And what I'll do, I'll go back to this and I'll get AF Digital to follow him as well, so he feels our presence. Great, so that's done. So I might also just Salesforce KOL. So I'm going to add an author label there. Salesforce KOL. I want to be able to refer back to people like this. And the other thing I want to do, actually, Matt Cameron, is I'm going to look in my LinkedIn. Matt Cameron. So, okay, there we go. This is better. Digital marketing solution architect. Oh, Kalido. Okay, it's one of our competitors. That's great. So I've got his details here, just for the sake of it. I'm just going to connect to him now. So I've got this guy now. Let's just assume that he's a totally great lead and he meets all of my qualification criteria. I go back to this and I'm going to generate a social lead, create lead in Salesforce. Great, and I know that I can go in there and pick that up. Which is really powerful for me as a salesperson, because now I can really start to target that person and reach out to him. Let's have a look at Dan Bogner. Who's Dan? Okay, great. So he's got an okay influence. Sydney. So he's possibly a good lead for me. Dan Bogner. Who is he? So I'm just going to go into LinkedIn. And so, you know, it's a really great social media specialist isn't afraid of getting outside of Social Studio and having a dig in and doing a Google and really finding out more about a person and paying attention to them. So, okay, Senior VP APAC Solution Engineering. So he's actually from Salesforce, which is really great. And I absolutely do want to meet everyone from Salesforce because that is really good referrals for me. So I am absolutely going to create a social lead for Dan Bogner. So let me just jump in here, create lead. Okay, cool. So I've done that a couple of times. I think you get the gist of the social selling. You've got to kind of qualify and see if that's someone the sales team would be interested in. With social customer service, it's a little bit easier. Oh, Matt Cameron's already come back to AFD with a DM. It's a little bit easier. So you're really looking for anyone that's complaining or has a service request or a question. So I'm just going to create a few cases just so we have some data. Randolph Matthews. Okay, great. And as you can see, it's been tagged and sent. Create lead. Great. Oh, we've got March Bowers in there as well. Create case. So I think I've got to move on quickly, but generally my responsibility as a social media specialist is to make sure all of these posts are addressed. You either close them and hide them, or you reply to them and handle them yourself, or you escalate them to Salesforce as a lead or as a case. So that's my job, is I've just got to figure out what to do with each of these, and hopefully I've been trained really well on how to do that. Great, so without further ado, I'm gonna jump into CRM. Oh, actually no, I'm gonna stop. Great, okay, so that's really the end of it. So we reviewed, tagged, engaged, and closed some posts. We replied to some posts, assigned posts. I didn't actually do that, but it's very easy to do. I'd typically assign posts to my marketing team if there's somebody else that's a specialist or if it's a campaign that someone's owning. And escalating cases and leads to Salesforce, we did that. Great. Okay, so moving into the next section. So that's social engagement, Donald Trump. So we're going to focus on social customer service now from Service Cloud. Um, so our actor now is Jackie Chan. He's a social customer service agent. Jackie actually came from a background of voice customer service, and all we did is trained him up on how to be a social customer service agent. He had good writing skills, and that was all we really needed to get going. The key is that he's got product knowledge. So Jackie Chan's job is to pick up a new case in the case queue, respond to the case, assign the case, and change the status. And then he's got dashboards and reports to kind of help him manage his workload. Great, so jumping into Sales Cloud. Okay, so right now I'm in a Lightning Sales Console. This is my production CRM, and this is the app that I personally prefer to use. I don't really do much customer service because it's not really our business, but we definitely do a lot of sales. So I'm going to show you what the social customer service looks like, and you'll see here a few of the posts that I've pushed through. And these are really, they've pulled in some details from the Social Studio API. Like we've got the subject of the case is what type and who it's from. We can present a channel logo to say which channel it's from. Status, priority. You can also default the priority in Social Studio and send that across. Right now, all of these cases are owned by default by the social case queue. So you can do anything here. You can assign it to a person. You can assign it to an admin. You can assign it to a queue. You can use omni-channel and have auto assignment running. There's all sorts of ways to do case assignment. The beauty of bringing it into Service Cloud is that you just apply the same logic that you would do for other channels, pretty much. You know, so if you're using omni-channel for voice, you'd probably use omni-channel for social as well. Cool. Okay, great. So I'm going to just dive into one of these cases. So let's have a look at Marta Bowers. Great. So you can see that this is the Lightning Service Console view. So I've got these three panels. There's this cool feature where you can have a kind of anything down here. So I've got a social case queue here that I can check in on. Largely, I have that hidden. And if you haven't played with Lightning, it's really awesome. You can move all of these things around to whatever really suits your business process. So right now, this is a case come in the social case queue. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick that case up and assign it to myself. Oh. Okay, Robin. Great. Okay, and I'm just going to tag it because this is my job. Okay, great. Save. And what I'll do, and you can see down here, I've got all of the latest posts in my feed coming up, and it's showing kind of where they are. And you can do things like you can interact with them, view the source if you want to get a bit more context, comment. So what I'm going to do is just do a reply back to Marta Bowers and go, thanks, Marta. Is there anything else we can help you with? Oh, actually, thanks, Marta. Hope you have a great day. Just in the interest of time, I'm just going to keep this short. So I've gone back with her, and again, because it's in Service Cloud, you can set up knowledge and all sorts of things in here to make this process more seamless. I'm just going to change the status to closed, and then save. And if I was a good agent, I'd probably add notes and say, happy customer, Marta loves us. Done. Yeah, you know, and if I was probably a better one, I'd probably add a task and say, maybe assign it to myself, follow up with a gift, and then put a due date on that. So the Lightning Service Console really makes it easy to just work with a case. You know, it's not all over the show. There's not much scrolling. These are all super configurable, and you can keep building this so it gets more and more awesome. Great. So that's that. Marta should have received her response back live. for me, I've taken that case. So if I go back to my case queue, it's no longer there in the social case queue. But if I was to look into my open cases, actually it's not open, but if it was open, it would be sitting here in my open cases. So that's the cases. I just want to drill in a little bit to how it's set up with the contacts. So if I look into yeah, so we've got the contact there, Ivan. So you can see here there's a social persona for Ivan and a contact. And if we look at the social persona, this is what the social persona looks like. So he's got the parent as the contact. And you can see if you hover over, it's got cases and opportunities potentially if you're selling. All the social posts, and then some information about that person, and including some stuff that we gleaned out of the Social Studio API. This is a listable cases for the parent contact, and this is a listable social post for the parent contact. So if there's multiple social personas, it can also cover that. So it's really quite exciting how it integrates. Obviously, it takes a little bit of time to get familiar with the interface. If you're used to a Social Studio environment and you go into Service Cloud, it's a little bit tricky to use, but it's really equipped to make it consistent for service agents to support those customers. Great. Okay, so let me just jump back into the presentation. So that's Jackie Chan. Okay, and just to close that out, we've also got the ability to have dashboards, and this is a really great reason why you should be doing social in your CRM, because it just allows you to report on everything, and it's really effective customer service reporting. I'm not going to touch on the Command Center screens in this webinar because I just don't have time, but I am running a Command Center demo webinar in, I think, about 4 weeks, so please sign up for that. Great. Okay, so finally, the final part of the demo is the sales process. So looking at social selling, and a lot of people don't really know what social selling is, or they know about it, but they're like, it's a kind of a myth. No one actually does it. So I just want to show you a journey before we go into the demo. So this example is for a company that provides, they provide travel itineraries and travel plans packaged. So it's like a travel agent, but it's an online travel experience site. So we looked into the stages that each of these travelers take on social. And so these are actual posts that they would do. So they go through these 8 phases we mapped out. So they dream about traveling, they plan to travel, they book their travel, they prepare for the travel, they depart, they explore, they return, and they reminisce. And each one of these points, they may or may not post on social media about their experience. And it is totally possible to find those posts and respond to them. So this is where we've got a really rich opportunity for social selling, especially for this company, TripAdeal, not a customer, just an example. So TripAdeal, they're the company that sell these travel plans. So Visage Hops really want to go back to NZ for a holiday. So they reply, oh, NZ is ACES, right? Where have you spent most of your time there? Check this trip plan out. And then they share a link. So that's a really relevant time to engage. Next one, spending my Sunday binge drinking, watching Netflix, and planning my holiday. And then we reply, where are you thinking of going? We just start the conversation. You know, maybe we'll follow up with some advice and some articles about you know, best places to visit in Rome, etc., etc. I won't go through this all, but you can kind of see that there's really relevant times for TripAdeal to engage these brands from a social selling perspective, especially in the dream, plan, and book stage when they could buy on the spot. Certainly when they're preparing, departing, exploring, and returning, that's not really a sale opportunity, but there's an opportunity to build a really deep relationship with them while they go through an amazing experience. And then reminiscing, it's possibly a good time to re-engage them. So let's look at Hank Moody. So if you're not familiar with who Hank is, he's the character from Californication. So his job as a salesperson is to pick up a new lead in the social lead queue he should enrich that lead, respond to the lead, convert the lead, and then again check the dashboards and the reports. So it's very simple. It's not that dissimilar to a normal sales job. In fact, it is just a normal sales job. So going back, I'm still in my Sales Cloud. So just a point, I've added all of my objects into Sales Cloud because I don't want to switch between apps. But typically, you'd probably have a service team operating service console and a sales team operating sales. So I'm now in my leads list. So I'm just going to go social lead queue. Great. Okay, cool. So I've picked up some of these things, some of these posts have been sent through from Social Studio. As you can see, it's got the name, the company. If we don't have the company, which we generally don't, we default it to the same as the name. The reason we do that is you've got to have a company name as part of a lead record. Lead status, lead source, that's pretty cool. Created date, last modified, owner, alias, and unread. So I'm just going to jump straight in. Let's have a look at Matt. Oh, Dan. Quite interested in Dan, actually. So, so now I'm Hank Moody, remember? So I've just seen this lead. I go in there every day and I check my leads. I may receive a notification potentially. So I've got this guy, Dan. I'm like, okay, who is this guy? Mad Arsenal and Sydney Swans fan. You can see he's connected already on Twitter here. So by default, the social persona brought that in. I've got some other details. I don't really have enough to work on them. What I'm going to do as a salesperson is go into LinkedIn, Dan Bogner, and do my job. So I'd be doing this anyway. I've already asked him for information. So I can see that he doesn't really have much information here on his profile that I can glean. So I am going to take what I can get, which is his LinkedIn profile. Boom. Okay, great. So I don't have his email, lead status. So his title, I can get that as well. So he's Senior VP APAC. He's from SE. Wow, quite a senior guy, huh? Senior VP APAC Solutions Engineering. That's enough that I will understand who he is. So he's probably buyer type for me as a salesperson. He's a referral partner. So if he has a customer problem and we're the best partner to help him, he may refer us some work. So I don't have his email and phone. These guys are really important to me, but I can wait. And then another thing I can do just to really enrich my lead is I just want to check where he's from. He's from Sydney, Australia. And I know that when I do my reports, I really care about these fields. Lead sources come through from Twitter. Industry, he's in technology. I don't know his birthday. Annual revenue, I know that Salesforce are at, what is it, 8 point something billion. How many zeros are there in billion? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Craziness. Okay, cool. So that's saved. So now I've got this lead, right? I've got this amazing lead. So as a salesperson, I'm going to follow him. I'm all about this guy. I can see all my notes, social posts. I can see if I add into campaigns. I've kind of configured this how I like it. What I'm going to do, because I can't send him an email, and I can't LinkedIn message him unless I was to use a paid service. I don't like using that because I feel like it's spammy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set a new task and say, check in if Dan has accepted my LinkedIn request. Due date, I'll check in Tuesday next week. Boom, done. Great, and that's all I need to do. I've now got this lead. I've got Dan Bogner. He's in my lead list. I'm just going to keep checking. If he doesn't reply to me, then I'll try contact him in a different way. I may try do a trunk line call and ask for him at reception, or I may send him a letter to reception and say, hey, you know, anything you want to do to be creative. Or I may eventually just email him if it really comes down to that. So this is a really cool feature. I think the other thing here as well is the salesperson is able to take over the conversation. So from my all famous account, instead of the social agency, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just reply back. His post was actually Salesforce Service Cloud update provides new tools for field agents. Awesome, love it. And then I'm going to tag myself in because I'm actually the salesperson. Check this out. Okay, boom, send post. So, and so that reply now shows in the social post. So both inbound and outbound are tracked here, and you can really just keep on top of this guy now. What I want to do is actually get his email address, and then I'll start a new type of relationship where I'll be mostly emailing and calling, and then ideally set up a first meeting. Great, and so I'm just going to change this guy to contacting, and here, there he is, and sales lead done. And then I go back into my my lead list. I'll just refresh it. Okay, cool. Oh, I forgot to assign Dan to myself. So I'm just going to edit Dan, and where is it? It's over here. And assign Dan to myself. Great. And now I own Dan, not literally. And he's now in my leads. So if I was to say my active leads, he would come in here, although I've just got a lot of leads. Yeah, but he'd be in contacting somewhere down there. Great. So let me just jump back. Okay, so I'm just going to show you quickly how to convert the lead. So we've responded to the lead. Let me go back to Dan. So I've gone and had a chat to Dan. I think he's a real opportunity. He's got this great referral, and I want to create an opportunity out of him. So what I'll do then is just go convert. Same process as normal leads. So you click convert. So obviously he's got to be qualified to convert. I've already got a Salesforce account set up, so I'm going to search for that, salesforce.com. Opportunity name. I'm not going to create an opportunity yet because there's really no opportunity, but I could create an opportunity and say referral, social customer service project, July 2017. That's my naming convention, and then create an opportunity. Let's just do it anyway. My sales team are going to get upset because this is live data. Cool. So, and from here I can then view the contact. So let's just have a look at how the contact looks. So this is effectively a contact like any other, but he's been created from a social lead. So we can see that the social posts that he has had previously have been brought across. He's got an opportunity here as well. We don't have any duplicates. Notes and cases we don't have, but we could. We've got all of his details on the right side. And of course, I've optimized these to how I want to see them. And then I can interact with my sales team on Dan, and I can view more details. You know, it's all there. And now this is a social selling opportunity. I think the thing to remember with social selling is it's really up to the salesperson to still be a salesperson. There's no kind of silver bullet for social selling. You've still got to try and get to that person and get a meeting with them. Okay. And finally, we also have dashboards as well. So very similar, the social lead, the case and lead dashboard. You know, you can show leads by agent, etc. I would typically run a more kind of tailored sales team dashboard to really kind of build this out and focus on social. Great. Okay, so let's just jump back. We've just got 15 minutes left, so I'll just whiz through the next few slides. So how to operationalize. So I've got a 10-step plan on how to operationalize social customer service. So first, figure out your ROI model. So it's really important to have a business case. Second, implement the right tools. It is possible to do natively, but it's really hard to scale. Set goals and metrics. So you just have to be cognizant. You can't manage what you can't measure. Create a playbook. So just like I explained how that social Donald Trump guy, he needs to know what to do. He needs to know what to reply to. He needs to know what to pass on to sales, what to pass on to Service Cloud. And that's the playbook. Build a command center. So again, this really helps drive transformation, and it just helps people to care about social more. Engage both on and off page. A lot of people make the mistake of just engaging on inbound, but they don't take care of the conversations happening about them off the pages. Prepare for a crisis. So, you know, a lot of people are afraid of opening the floodgates with social. You should be, and you should be prepared for it. But generally, crises that happen on social are not social triggered. They're usually crisis that happens in public, and then social is the channel where the buzz happens. Okay, step 9, spread the word. So because you want to deflect calls from your voice and more expensive channels, you want to push them into social. So spread the word about it. Advertise your response times. Advertise that you're doing it. Whenever you have a voice customer service issue, get them to have a script to say, hey, did you know that we also provide service on Facebook and Twitter? It's really the future of service from a customer perspective. Finally, track results and calculate ROI. Show the bosses that it actually did work. So just on the ROI, really quickly, these slides will be available afterwards. Set your goal. So what's my goal? Generate 1,000 leads, or it is, you know, handle 1,000 cases from social. You set the goal value, so you know one lead is worth $10 to you based on the customer lifetime value, or you know that it costs you $4 to answer a call in your voice, whereas it costs you $2.50 to answer in social. So you know that every social case handled is $1.50 worth of value. Track expenses. Obviously, you've got to consider all of your expenses in running the operation. So, you know, manpower, technology, even like the space they sit in. Track goals. How many social leads do they get? How many cases do they handle? And then you calculate your ROI, and it's just this very standard calculation, but you arrive at something very simple at the bottom. So there's a lot of detail on the slide, but there's models for figuring out ROI on different aspects of social. So we can figure out ROI of social buzz based on how much you'd pay an influencer to post about you. What about the public posting about you? What's that worth? Social customer service, as I mentioned, it's cheaper to handle a social case. Social selling, it's just like a world of leads out there that we're not even touching. So what is a lead worth to us? That's the ROI. And then finally, social advertising. And there's so many ways of making money or saving money with social ads. Don't target your existing customers with lead acquisition ads, for example. You save money. Or new leads generated, same as the social selling ROI model. There's a bunch of things you can do here. Great, and what we recommend to customers is to really think about their social maturity roadmap. Where are they going? If you can measure your maturity across aspects of your business, then you can say, oh, we're not good at education, but we're really good at community management or content. And only through measuring it can you increase. So this is an example for a client that we did where we measured you know, how strong they were or how mature they were at listening versus education versus staffing. And then you can identify the low-hanging fruit and really focus on building those up. So education was a problem for this client, so we gave them an education program. So finally, how to work with a partner. Just one slide on this. So we've got Donald Trump on the left. He is your social agency or your internal marketing team, either or. But because he has Social Studio and it's all connected, he just needs to click the buttons. You don't need someone internally to do this. He needs to click buttons, and he can click those buttons, send cases across to the customer service team. Jackie is maybe your internal customer service team who's handling cases that are sent from your social agency, right? So it's bringing social back into the organization. Same with the sales team. This may be your internal sales team, and he may be generating social leads for you. But you can flip this as well, and this is the power of cloud technology, and that you could have an internal social team, and you could have an external partner who's doing your customer service. And many companies do this. And then you just flick cases across. So if you look at what you should be tracking, you know, the customer service team, it's really about the volume of cases and the average response time. I mean, very simply put. Sales team, sales pipeline, closed sales, their sales cycle, you know, standard stuff. And for the social media guy, it's like follower growth, engagement, sentiment, you know, and there's a myriad of other metrics as well they can track. So this is the key, is that it's really flexible. You can work with any of these partners, outsource or all of them or none of them. The technology allows it. So an example of a project we did with HighPages very recently, we implemented Social Studio into their organization and connected it with their existing sales and service cloud so they can generate social cases and social leads exactly like a demo. We also do things like content for Qantas, and we use the same technology, and it's really to allow them to scale and have a partner managing. You know, we've got a team managing content just in Asia for them using the platform, and we're all working at the same place. We've got some accelerators to help you guys adopt this technology. So we've got a social power on, which is 5K, and that gets you up and running on Social Studio, Publish, Engage, Analyze. Also Social Connect, $15,000, and that integrates Social Studio into your sales and service cloud via Command Center, via Social Hub. And that's a very quick project. It's a 2-week project. We get you up and running, and then it's really about how you use the technology. We've also got some managed services as well: publishing, engagement, reporting, advertising, and social admin. We get asked a lot by clients on, okay, I've bought the software, but how do I run it? So we've got some solutions where we can help you do that at scale. Great, so going into Q&A, so if I can invite questions. Okay, looks like we don't have any questions. Great. Well, if we, oh, there is a question. Okay. Will you see the account tagged as closed? Will still show on the Social Studio. Okay, yeah, good. That's a very good question. I didn't show this. So if what is one of the posts I replied to? Okay, so here's Otis McGraw. So here's, did that come from Salesforce? No, sorry. Let me just find one where I've had an interaction. Okay, great. So this is actually an interaction with myself. So what it does show you in Social Studio is it will show us hidden, and it will show us sent to Salesforce. So that's kind of how you know it's gone and off your plate. What you will see in Social Studio is you do see the replies coming back from Service Cloud. So if there's been an interaction with the agent, you'll see that here as well, appended onto the social post. What is missing is it doesn't show you the case number. It doesn't show you the case status or any other case details from within Social Studio. However, it is on the roadmap, apparently. I've seen it. It's been talked about, where you can actually view the case details from within Social Studio. So that once that's there, that'll really give you that transparency on both sides. Great question. Thank you for that, Koichi. Can you still see the historical posts of the same person from the same thread from different thread posts? Yes, yep, that's an excellent question. So within Social Studio, if I look at, let's look at Claire. So generally, if I look at the conversation on a post, I can see the history of all the comments and posts for that post. Right, so this actually started with this this AFD demo, and there's been a series of interactions. So with Claire, if I want to see everything that she's ever done, any interaction that we've had, I look at the author. So I look at the author interaction, and I can see everything here from my interactions with her. So that's how I'd get around that, is just you look at the post conversation that shows you the history of the post. And then if you want to see more about the author, you go down to information and then view more, and that'll show you more from the author. or rather, can you still pull out the historical engagement with the same person? Um, yeah, so you can view it. There's not an export to pull it out. However, in Sales Cloud or Service Cloud, so if I was to look into Dan Bogner, uh, let's look into his social persona. Okay, so we've got Dan here, and I can see all of the historical posts for his social personas. So if we'd known him for a long time, we'd have a really long list of his entire history from here. And we can then, I believe you can export this, or an admin can export this as well, potentially. I hope I answered your question. Any other questions? Thank you for those questions, Koichi. Great. All right. Well, unless there's any more questions, I think we'll wrap up. I just want to reiterate, well, we've got a couple of minutes left. So we've got an upcoming webinar schedule that's happening. So the next one will be Thursday, 10th of August at Social Studio Analyze. And we'll go through a series of 3: Analyze, Engage, Publish, Command Center Demo, 21st of September, World-Class Social Customer Service Demo. It'll be the same as this one. Pro Tips, which I've already done before. I'm doing a focused one on how to calculate ROI from social on the 16th of November, Social Crisis Management, and then also a detailed Social Hub demo. And for anyone that's in Sydney that's interested, we are running an event called A Social Affair. We're flying in Adam Brown, who's executive strategist from Salesforce. He's ex-Dell, ex-Coke, really amazing social thought leader. And we've got some other speakers that are to be confirmed. One of them is actually High Pages. Great. Well, on that note, thank you everyone for attending, and I'll make sure this recording is available to everyone after. Have a great weekend.